So, in the latest chapter of the Black Clover manga, chapter 269, it seems that the conclusion of the Asta versus Liebe fight finally came to the end, as Asta essentially copies Yami's death thrust and kind of does his own variation of it with his katana, and it looks to have hit Liebe, the anti-magic devil, in the face. And I'm sure this is probably the end, and Asta won this. Now, at the very least, it could be that this fight continues, or Liebe could even very well completely turn the fight around and start dominating, or maybe even win. But I think it's safe to say that Asta probably won this fight. But this has caused a stir among the fandom, and even more so, haters of the Black Clover manga or the series itself, as they're like, whoa here. In this scenario, Asta not only is missing an arm, but doesn't have any of his anti-magic power, as it's the anti-magic devil, Liebe, that he gets that anti-magic from, and he's fighting it. So how does Asta, while missing one arm that the devil stole from him, and having no anti-magic, how is he just not getting immediately destroyed? And so basically here, there are many reasons to very easily explain why Asta essentially not only held his own in this fight, but likely won it based on the conclusion of chapter 269. So I'm going to go over that, give my thoughts, and give some kind of just lore and scaling for what Asta has done in the past, and then it'll probably change your mind if you were kind of against this whole scenario of Asta holding his own or defeating his devil Liebe. Now, with that being said, I want to remind you guys that I am an online personal trainer. If you want to hire me as a personal trainer, I have a link to my website in the description below. If you want to get in shape by the spring or summer, I can help you do that as quick as possible. Just basically using a scientific-based approach and using a lot of the things that I use to basically, I have lost 130 plus pounds, including over 70 pounds since New Year's. So yeah, it works very well, and I have a lot of people to lose weight as well. So if you want help in losing weight and putting on muscle at the same time, then hit me up. But with that being said, let's get into this video. Also want to say, if you do enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe. I get a lot of viewers who are subscribed, I get a lot of viewers who are not subscribed, so please subscribe if you are not yet. But anyways, let's just start with the dynamic between Asta and Liebe here. So Asta was essentially hoping that he would one day be blessed with magic. Didn't come, so what he did is he worked his ass off for 15 years or whatever, and he became a physical monster. He is so strong, fast, and durable to his muscles, or because of his muscles, and how much he had worked them. Compare that to, and contrast that to, Liebe, who didn't have any magic as a devil, and once he was sealed in the grimoire, what he did is he cursed and cursed and cursed the devil race for 15 years or however many years, and he is essentially probably has something to do with him being a devil. Combine that with his willpower and his, cursing, that manifested into basically giving birth to anti-magic power. So while he was cursing things, he got blessed, and while that's the opposite for Asta, he worked for things and he didn't get blessed with power. He had to work super hard for his power. And so that leads into another point, is that essentially Liebe hasn't really gotten in a fight before. Liebe, he used to get just beat up by the devils, but it almost looks like it was just basically got jumped. There was no way for him to fight back, because not only was he outnumbered by people stronger than him, but he had no magic to fight back with. So Liebe, he has no real fighting experience, whereas Asta has gone through many different fights against many different kinds of people, including fighting a devil in the past. So Asta, he has essentially all this experience built up, and when you compare that experience with what he has done before, let's just compare. So Asta, with just pure physical, his own physical ability, not using the Black Form's anti-magic to make himself stronger and faster, he was able to punch Third Eye Raya. He was able to move faster than Mira Leona's attacks. He was able to survive an attack from Spirit Ladros, whose power surpassed the Salamander, the Fire Salamander Spirit. And now this is a long time ago. That durability feat of surviving that attack from the Salamander, that was before the elf arc, and he gets way stronger by the elf arc. And then him in his base form, moving faster than Mirlander's attacks and punching Raya and damaging him, those take place during the elf arc. And Asta got way stronger after the time skips, especially the 6-month training time skip training in the Heart Kingdom. So he would be much stronger even further. Remember Third Eye Raya, while he did kind of become fodder once like the elven forms came, still a pretty potent magical user, and Asta was going against him in his base form. Also, we have to add in the fact that he has Ki. Asta, with his Ki, has pretty much enhanced sensory reception or perception, as he can almost kind of see the future as like a sixth sense precognition, and he basically has incredibly high reaction speed thanks to it. And pair this with what is actually made a point in this actual chapter, so he has learned from so many different magic swordsmen. He learned from Kyoto, he learned from Yami, he learned from Fonzel, he learned from Mars, he learned from Licht. And this is shown when he does their multiple different abilities. Like he dances like Kyoto. And then he also does basically his death thrust like Yami does. And this leads me to the question of, once he gets his anti-magic back with the paired with the devil. Remember, Asta had like Black Bull thrust, or was similar to Yami's death thrust, is he can do like a Black Bull death thrust, so like when he's using his full power, when he's using like true devil magic, and then he's also in his 3-horn berserk form at the same time. That could be the way he actually defeats Lucifero, maybe. And then also, so you pair all that together. Asta's a physical monster, he has Ki, he has experience as a swordsman, and then Liebe has no experience of being a fighter that we know of, and he got his power through essentially just luck. It's probably because the 5-leaf Clover Grimoire that Licht had, it still had the 4th leaf, so it means it still has luck, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's a mixture of him being a devil, willpower, and then the luck of the Grimoire manifesting and giving Liebe a anti-magic power. And so, another thing here to add in here is that anti-magic, it does great and best against ding 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 magic. Asta doesn't have magic. He's using physical power. Now, while it should still do stuff against him, because anti-magic is still a form of energy, it doesn't have its basically full power because it's not going against magic. So it's kind of like a bad matchup for Liebe to go against Asta. So that's another thing going here, multiple things going here to why it makes total sense for Asta to be able to defeat his devil and defeat Liebe. And another thing, and this one isn't as supported, it's more so hypothetical, and that might be that Liebe, the anti-magic devil, might not be at full power in this instance, and maybe he's holding back. And this is because we have seen Liebe in the past being essentially in a giant form, and this sort of ritual that Noct did, it kind of summoned him here, and it's weird because Liebe, he has now Asta's arm, but he's now small. But then Asta is missing his arm, whereas in a normal world, Asta has his arm. Also, the anti-magic devil, Liebe, has shown to be a giant. So I wonder if this sort of ritual maybe weakens Liebe, but again, it's not too really well supported. But we do know that Liebe is also holding back because when Asta sensed his Ki, he could tell that he was a different devil from Zagred and the other devils, and that Liebe was holding back. He did not want to kill Asta. So when you add all of these together, it actually makes 100% perfect sense of why Asta was not only able to hold his own against the anti-magic devil, but also defeat him. I'm going to do a quick summary of all the points, and that is 1, Asta is a physical monster who before the time skip, just through his physical stats, was above Third Eye Raya, who in the beginning of the series would destroy captains. He knows how to be a swordsman, he uses swords, and he has Ki, and he's actually just got experience through fighting, but you can tell that Liebe has no experience as basically being a fighter or a swordsman, especially the swordsman type, because he's not wielding the swords, he's just throwing them. He's just throwing them at Asta. And then, I honestly think that Asta's willpower is probably just higher than Liebe's. Asta wants to be essentially the Wizard King and do good, probably more than Liebe wants to. Or if not, it's probably close, but Liebe is just in a berserk manic state right now, when maybe he shouldn't be, because Asta essentially wants the same goals that he has, and if they work together, it probably would work out. But yeah, it's pretty easy to see why Asta could defeat Liebe. It just makes perfect sense. I think the whole thing here is that while they both are pretty competent in terms of power away from each other, what's going to make them truly strong is when you have Asta as the vessel getting powered by anti-magic. Pure physical prowess and hard work combined with luck and natural talent in Liebe with the anti-magic power, and that's going to make the ultimate beast when Asta ever reaches his full power. And I cannot wait to see Asta and Liebe take down Dante and Lucifero, because man, that's going to be nuts. It's going to be probably a lot of emotions. Maybe Liebe will see that, Asta is probably Lisita's son, and maybe Asta will see that his mother raised the anti-magic devil. That'd be really cool to see. But yeah, it makes completely 100% perfect sense that Asta was able to fight his devil and win based on all of these factors, and I'm sure we'll probably get even more factors in the later chapters. But that being said, that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know your thoughts down below, guys. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Plus...